Anyway, welcome guys, we are here. It is the GoObus King of the Hill that's going on right now. We're actually spawning directly on top of the reigning champion right now. goswser has won either 2 or 3 games in a row, but he has beat a few very skillful guys. I think he's won 2 games now. This will be a third if he wins. And his challenger down here in the bottom left is going to be tQState, the Protoss in the bottom left, another teammate. There have been a lot of TQ guys in here, and it's not just these guys playing. I'm part of TQ, and so is you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You Winter here tuning in, co-casting with Xander.
Yeah,
debut casting for me. It's my first time going on air live.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you. And now, right before the game started, you were saying some stuff about ZVP on this map. Do you want to just repeat it for the stream?
Yeah, so the other night, one of our members, TQ Aquanda, who has seemingly developed his own famous build, the Aquanda build for ZVP, which basically consists of massling and baneling aggression with a lot of, I guess, what is the word I'm looking for? Macro hatches being built in his natural. And the idea is to really gain map control through a lot of ling play and take over the rest of the map, get your expansions up, and get some high economy play. We had a series of games between him and JMag, which is a great Protoss player, as well as EG and Control, and a few of those games happened on Xel'Naga, really highlighting the ability and strength of a high economy Protoss turtle power build, taking your time, expanding, taking your second natural and the gold, and really just playing as defensively as possible. Yeah, it
was really cool to watch Quanta. Actually, he had some openings to defeat in Control, which is very fun to watch.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I'm kind of curious to see if goswser is going to try and mimic that build, because he has been using a lot of Zerglings and Banelings only in the last couple games that we've seen.
Yep.
Alright, so now he's using just the 2 Zerglings. And he's got up his hatchery. We go back here, we see the estate throwing down his cybernetics core as well as an assimilator. So I would not be surprised at all to see State go for a 3-gate fast expand.
Well, I actually don't know. He's got his second gas coming up right now. We might see some early Phoenixes on the field, possibly a little bit of harass that way. Or this could be the, I think, somewhat newly developed State 5-gate, where he throws out a lot of sentries and zealots and goes for some pressure before Banelings can get on the field. It's kind of a large map though, so I'm leaning more towards some Phoenix play or some other sort of tech.
Yep, that'd be very cool to see. A good deviation from the normal 3-gate fast expand into 6-gate or 5-gate Robo, Void Ray, whatever you want to go for.
Yeah.
Sage is saying, do it. He's just allowing goswser to use his Zerglings to attack the gateway. He could have theoretically, if goswser kept attacking, just force it behind him and taken 2 free Zerglings.
Yeah, I think at this point though, he definitely wants to save those force fields. So we got 2 gates going down right now. So definitely looking like a 3-gate something. I'm gonna guess probably a Stargate, but we'll see in a minute here.
Yep, we'll see if he tries to go for the economy route or the hardcore pressure route, as you have to do one or the other. You cannot just stay on one base and let Zerg take the entire map. That is just asking to be overrun in so many levels.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so now goswser is continuing to produce only drones. He's actually getting really high in the mineral count right now at over 400. Looks like he's going to try and power out something. He's got 1 queen out for both of his hatcheries. No macro hatches yet, so I'm kind of waiting for the macro hatch to be put down if he's going to try and do a version of the Aquanda build of his own.
Yeah, definitely I think might be good at this point. Sticks through around his Nexus and his natural, so...
Yep. So it looks like it was a 3-gate fast expand. We'll see what his follow-up is going to be. Whether it's going to be just a normal 6-gate, or if he's going to try and do a something like Phoenix's.
Only time will tell.
And time is luckily fast approaching. It always goes on.
So right now it looks like goswser is going with the same build as last game. He pulled his drones off again, just like last game. Just got him back on. Probably going to go for getting that 50 gas through around his Baneling nest, and he also has a third an expansion going up in his second natural.
Yep, he is. He's hasn't worked on taking down the destructible rocks quite yet, but is probably going to work on that once he gets more units. However, State is getting a very fast hallucination, most likely going to use this to send a hallucinated Phoenix to go ahead and scout and see what's going on, which means that he will know about that third base fairly soon, and possibly try and do a timing push where he can take that out without taking very many losses. But we do have a Roach Warren going down for goswser, so he's not going to be going for his Banley build like the last couple games.
Yep. Hallucination's just finishing up, so State's going to get a quick scat of that before the Roach Warren is, well, it's actually almost complete, so never mind.
Yep, so I bet he will get the knowledge that he needs. Most likely we'll throw down, probably go for either Immortals, Colossi, or Void Rays, as all of those are very good against Roaches.
Yep, Robo going up right now.
Yep. Evolution Chamber is now also being thrown down from goswser, so he's going to be able to get up his upgrades fairly quickly. Also, theoretically, can throw down some Spore Crawlers if he's fearing genuine Phoenixes.
Now, at this point, State doesn't know about goswser's second natural expansion.
He didn't go by. Oh, he did not go by it.
Did not. Yeah.
Wow, so good call on that one. goswser might want to start spreading his creep a little bit more. He does have the capacity to do that with that creep tumor. However, State is pushing in with a fairly significant Zealot Sentry Force.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how effective this is going to be against all those roaches. I think he was anticipating some more Ling play.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably going to want to pull back and might want to just see if he can pick off a few units. However, this is very vulnerable to the roaches. They do not have clear constitution, which is definitely going to help him as he will be able to escape. But he could do a really good bit of forces right now and actually pick off a few of those guys. And there it is. Could actually allow him to take out those Lings. Or, no, actually, that Lings escapes with literally 1 health. But anyway, that did allow him to retreat without fear of losing anything. And that's actually fairly significant. And now goswser's going to go ahead and take down the destructible rocks to his third base.
I'm actually wondering if State paid attention to those two running into the second natural area.
I doubt he would. Probably just assumes that they were just running around the force fields.
Yeah, most likely.
But now State did block off this back runway pathway thing into his natural base, and he's now also bringing down the rocks to get up a third of his own. So he might be going for the passive expansion macro scouting build.
Yeah, I mean, after the series of Quanda and Troll and J-Mag, I think that's definitely the best way to go on this map. Zerg just really doesn't have the flanking ability that they do on a lot of other maps to really get their force out and take out the Protoss.
And now goswser's also throwing down a Overlord to get as much scouting as he possibly can and see what he actually was successfully able to see. He did see the Robo. He's seen just the 3 gates in the Robo, and that is it. That's really all he needed to see. That's all that's out. Alright, so now we do have Burrow being researched. I thought so, Burrow. Oh, or does he already have Burrow?
He has Burrow.
He has Burrow. Okay, so that's just completed or something then. So the Burrow is out for these roaches. That's definitely helping him. Does he have Glio Constitution and Tongue Claws? Nope, just Glio Constitution, as Tongue Claws is researching right now.
Yep, about halfway done.
Yeah. So now we have Hua-Hin lagging and tQState saying 13, 13, 13, 13.
I don't know how often you watch him stream, but when he's not really doing anything, he'll just mash between his screens. It's pretty entertaining, actually.
Alright, but now this is goswser really likes his expansions, getting up his gold base before the 12-minute mark, and that's a little bit unheard of, as State's actually doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's a little funny. Right now, goswser, probably has an idea, but doesn't actually know that State has taken that gold expansion. So I'm not really sure if that's him trying to stay 1 base ahead or not.
Yeah, but here we go. We actually look back here. There's a Spire almost completing. So it looks like we'll have mutas in the field, but good force fields from State. Very good force fields, blocking off a lot of those roaches, and a good second layer of force fields, and the third layer of force fields. That's a lot of force fields. And
that Roach Burrow not doing too much with the observers out.
Yes, however, it's going to allow him to actually not lose about half of those roaches. However, he did take significant losses still, but his macro has been so strong with that hidden third base that he's actually ahead in the food count by a solid dozen right now. And it looks like State's running out of force fields. He's got 1 sentry that has max energy, and that's about it. Looks like the hatchery is actually going to go down. Oh, God, it's canceled.
Oh, canceled.
So it was canceled.
That was a great last-second cancel, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw the hell on it.
Yeah, it was about to go down. But look at this. Immortals in the field doing a lot of damage, a lot of kills between them. However, they're getting sniped down, but State is whittling down the roach count to a ridiculous level. And looks like, oh, look at that. Goswser just having to pull back very late. And now this is actually looking pretty good for State as he is basically back neck and neck with the food count. His goal base is now up. He's transferring a lot of probes, going to be able to fully saturate this almost instantly, and that is going to really help him just continue to macro up.
Yeah, and here we are. Gauser's still not aware that State has that gold up and running. He hasn't spotted any vision on it. He's really just trying to focus on keep his macro ahead of State and get that expansion back up at the gold.
Yeah, and now you see this Colossi are able to be produced right now. The robotics bay is done. We have the first Colossus being produced right now. No Central Lands being researched yet. However, armor is being researched, and now, Gauser has been like, I'm going to give you some more of my roaches for free if you would so like to have them. And great force fields.
Bad on bro. That was perfect. We got about 9 mutas on the field now.
All right.
Actually, 6 mutas.
All right.
More in first.
Yep, 6 mutas. There are actually more mutas now are with the army. There's a lot more morphing in now. They do have the 9 muta count now. The question is, actually, State doesn't have a ton of stalkers on the field. No phoenixes or anything. Will Gauser be able to get up his goal this one now? Good attempt at flanking. He's gonna be able to do. Oh wow, this actually be good for State. Great force fields blocking off all those roaches. Actually the base does complete, so that hatchery is now up. This Colossus is really up front though. That's not. It's
position.
Yeah, it gets
gone.
And it looks like the roach macro from Gauser is actually going to be enough to push State back. But will it mean the end of State? That's going to be a little bit iffy. State does have Immortals now with his army again. And Gaucher's going to go ahead and pull back after realizing that the gold is up. Reinforcements will be instantaneous. And now State has his Zealots up in the field. Interestingly enough, though, there's no Blink out yet. It's double Robo. 1 for Immortals, 1 for Colossi. And State has not been able to really get many upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, he just got his Twilight Council up and running. Blink is actually researching now, so that's going to definitely come into play for those mutas, and especially if we see some corruptors out.
Yeah, and now State actually now has the right base, and I believe that Gauser knows about it. He does have Overlords there, but they're not going to go ahead and scout. The Roach count is very large, and now State's going to go ahead and push in more great force fields, but Gauser is probably just going to end up using this to take out the Zealots. Yeah, and now you can push in, try and find a good little bit of a concave, better concave than Gauser, but there are a lot of units on the field right now. Good force fields disrupting the concave of the Roaches, allowing State to retreat alive.
Yeah, also great positioning there that time with the Protoss having him back, getting a few shots in.
Yeah,
definitely pushed Gauser back.
Yeah, so good move by these guys. And State has a lot of probes. 87 probes to 72 drones. Income is just a little bit in favor of State, as State is actually neck and neck in terms of bases. But now look at this. State is getting to morph in stuff. The Quad Council is actually being placed at the goal, which is kind of strange. State's doing a good job of controlling his macro. Has a lot of units out, almost at max food, but so is Gauser. Gauser's just a little bit behind, but there are a lot of stalkers there. They do have Blink now. More force fields, doing a good job of just making sure that the Gauser can't use all of his roaches efficiently, but there's a big Blink up, and the roaches are just going to go directly on top of State's units, which is going to make them really susceptible to splash damage. However, they are taking out the Immortals, but all of these roaches are really low health, but they're still going to be able to push State back, as State's just not able to do the last bit of damage to kill them. And now Gauser's just going to be able to burrow and deal with this significantly enough.
Yeah, I was a little surprised there not to see some Blink micro from State. Research that ability, we haven't really seen him use it too much, especially with all those roaches burrowing and popping up right in his army.
Yep, and now there are a few Hydras in the field, a few more, and Gauser will have a lot more DPS added to his army composition, and State is actually fully walled off this base on the right. He could actually start working on taking out this these rocks to the what should be his third, and he is throwing down that Nexus actually right now.
Yeah, you can also see he's switched completely to Immortal play. Seeing the Corruptors on the field, not going to be as worthwhile throwing Colossus out there.
Yeah, and this State's actually getting pushed back a lot by this very significant roach count. And oh, he pulled back a little bit too far, allowing goswser to get a massive concave. State does have a lot of units going to be able to warp in more units and just blink up. And there it is. Blink Micro is there, going to end up taking out all of goswser's army. He can blink up and start killing the... Oh, yes, there it is.
That's great.
State's doing a...
Especially those Hydras lagging in the back.
Yeah, that's actually really key, and State is now looking pretty good. goswser's at 160 food, State's at 145, but he took a lot of goswser's infrastructure out, not infrastructure, army with that, and State is actually ahead in terms of the base count once this base comes up. goswser's getting up his a little bit later than State, but that's still pretty good for both players.
Yeah, definitely. A nice play by goswser with that previous aggression taking on up. Fourth natural? I don't even know what to call that.
Just fifth base is fine.
Yeah.
But now here we go. State has all these units down here, but he's actually about to lose a bunch of his warp gates, which is going to hamper him in terms of what he can actually produce. He's going to try and blink up, but goswser has a great position in his army. State's blinking to try and get a better concave. However, goswser has a lot of Hydras that are doing a lot of damage. State does not have Templar or any form of DPS. This is really going to hurt him as he doesn't... There we go. Colossi are now out in the field, finally. Corruptors are going down, but still, goswser has a lot of Roaches and Hydras still left. State's needs to rely on the Colossi, but... They're actually, wow, that's going to be enough to start taking them out. goswser could actually start attacking the Roaches with the Blink Stalkers up there, but that's not going to happen as State just pushes him back.
Nice play by State. Following up on some upgrades, he's now up 2 attack and 1 armor. gosser's 2-2.
Yeah, I do want to... What?
Is there a Templar Archives on the field?
I don't know, but there are 96 probes on the field.
That's an insane amount.
That's almost... I think that's too many probes, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I feel like the optimal drone to be probe count is probably around 70, but I'm not totally positive on that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But this means State can just start being a Zerg and just building 20 million warp gates and just constantly reinforcing the attack as each unit dies individually.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely something that I don't personally see enough in PvZ. You know, when you're relying on Colossus for your damage on Hydras, to get enough gateways, those Colossus do go down to Corruptors, to really just macro back up and pump out a lot more gateway units.
Yep. And right now I'm just dancing around and see how many warp gates are on the field. It does seem that there are 10 warp gates as well as the 2 robos. So that's a fair bit of production that State can do. But here we go. He does have control of this watchtower in the middle, and he looks like he's not going to engage. There are a fair bit of mutas in this group. 5 mutas. How many corruptors? There are 6 corruptors, and it's mainly roaches with only 3 hydras mixed in.
Yeah, it looks like they're both trying to feel each other out and really see, try and find an optimal point to engage.
Yeah, and we do have State. Oh my God, he's building 2 more robos, 2 more gateways. He's got a dark shrine on the way. Actually, 4 more gateways. So he's about to have 4 robos.
Just not enough corruptors at this point. He had 5 Colossus, which really just completely melted that Zerg army. Now we just see Stalkers just completely taking everything else out.
Yeah, so really well done by State as he prepares to do the most hardcore macro you could ever possibly see from a Protoss.
Yeah, this looks like game right now. I mean, State's got about 2,000 minerals floating. Zerg's at 300. Trying to get some units back out, but I think it's a little bit too late at this point.
Yeah, State also has +3 attack upgraded while the Roaches are still on 2-2 because there's no Hive out, no Infestor. Oh, the Visitation Pit is out, but no Infestors are out or anything. But this is really looking to be in State's favor with his... has he hit 100 probes? He's, nope, still at 97 probes, but there's GG from goswser. So State's going to emerge victorious, and we have a new champion yet again. This is very exciting.